Okay, we're going to talk about your puppies.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Okay. What types of things do your dogs help you with?
Our dogs are trained to guide us where we direct them to go. So our job is to give them the directions, and it's the dog's job to get us there safely. So we have to work together, and they like indicate changes in elevation, like if there's stairs or a really big crack in the sidewalk or a curb. They take us around obstacles in our path. Um, and it is a smooth, fluid way of moving through the world.
So
when you work with a
Stacy,
dog.
with
What?
our dogs, how would we know if we were coming to a down curb, or how would we know when we were getting to a flight of stairs that goes up?
Well, the dog would stop, and then we'd have to use our foot to reach out with our foot and probe to see like what's there. Like, do the stairs go up in front of us? Is it a drop off like a curb? If they're stopping randomly, like on the sidewalk, we have to reach out to see like, are they trying to show us there's something in our way? That type of thing.
But for the upstairs and the up curb, what do they do with their front feet, Stacy?
Well, Sarah, you see, when they stop at either the up curb or a flight of stairs going up, they put their front feet on the bottom step, so we can feel that
these
they are
stairs
indicating.
go up.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're
That's
welcome,
very
Sarah.
helpful.
Thank you for tag teaming me on this question.
You're welcome. I thought because you just said elevation changes, they wouldn't know what that means necessarily. Yeah.
How do you get paired with your dog? Like, do you get to go and choose a dog? Do dogs get chosen for you?
So dogs get chosen for us. It's a matching process. So our guide dog school, first of all, we fill out an application.
Guide Dogs for the Blind in California and Oregon.
Mm-hmm. And so we fill out an application, and in that application, it talks about things like what kind of lifestyle we have. Do we want a dog that walks fast or slow or in the middle? Like for me, I work in an office all day, and I see a lot of college students. But then also, I do a lot of activities in the evenings with my kids. My oldest son's in the marching band, so my dog has to be okay with going to parades and having candy thrown at his head and all these
Loud
fun
sounds.
things. Yes, all
yeah.
the sounds and the fire trucks and so they do a lot of like interviewing us previous to when we go train with our dogs. And then once we actually we have to go and train for 2 weeks at the Guide Dogs for the Blind campus. And when we get there, they do even more interviewing with us, and they watch us walk again and do a little bit more talking, and then they make their final matches. And we don't know who our dog is going to be until they bring him to our door, into our room at the campus, and they'll say like, Sarah, this is your dog. His name is Polaris, and he is a male yellow lab. So
Now,
we have no clue.
There's Polaris.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being a great
The
dog.
handsome sleeping boy.
And then Daniela down there. And you know the thing about all of this, they match the dog based on the dog's temperament and personality and ours, but also our lifestyle. Not all dogs walk the same speeds. They have to make sure that they give us a dog that feels comfortable with our walking speed. Like for me, I work at home, I write books, and so when I might decide one day I'm just gonna take my laptop and go to the coffee shop, and so that's like every day is a little bit different for her. But then my husband and I do a lot of traveling. We're Broadway nerds. We like to go see musicals on Broadway. We go to Mackinac Island every year, so we go different places, and so my dog has to be comfortable both like in a like just a kind of calm, small city environment, but also in places like New York City. So they have to take all that into account when they are matching us with our dogs.
When you take them to go to the bathroom, how do you know if they're going number 1 or 2 and because you need to clean up after?
Yep. So always. We feel we're taught when we get our dogs, when we're relieving them, we touch their backs to figure out like if their back is a certain shape, it means they're urinating, and if it's a different shape, it means that they are pooping. And obviously sometimes with a male dog, it's a different
I
thing.
love it because when a male dog pees, you can hear it hit the ground, so you don't always have to. But what you do is when you are walking your dog and they're sniffing and they're on a leash, when they stop walking, you need to make sure you touch them. And how we pick up their poop, when they're squatting to poop and their back is that kind of hunched shape that many of you you've ever seen a dog poop, you know what it looks like. We are trained to put our foot right back by their hindquarters.
Right hind foot.
And then when the dog walks away, in theory, your foot is pointing at the poop, and then you just bend down and pick it up.
What do you do if they get sick?
We take them to the vet. Sometimes, dogs get sick just like people do, and then they might have to take a day off of work. That means that sometimes we have to take a day off of work if we don't have somebody to stay with the dogs. But we always make sure we have a good relationship with our vet so we can get them in right away if they are sick.
And so Polaris has his harness on. And so what if you see someone out in public and their dog is using a harness? What does that mean?
It means generally that they're working. And when a dog is working, it's great if you do not come up and distract them because they're focused on their job, whatever their job is for the person that they are with. So for me and for Stacy, that would mean their job is guiding, and they're very focused on keeping us safe. And then there are lots of other types of service dogs that work with people who have different types of jobs, and they also need to be focused on their jobs.
And by distraction, we mean things like don't talk to them, don't, try to make eye contact, don't try to feed them, don't try to engage in any way because, to you it's like, oh, I'm just talking to that pretty dog. But to me, it could be my safety. If my dog gets distracted, it could mean that I could get injured, and nobody wants to do that to someone else. So
it's always okay to
ask.
talk to the handler
Mm-hmm.
and say, like, your dog is really pretty. Like, can I say hi? Some handlers, if they're busy or if the dog is distracted or if they're trying to get somewhere, they may say no, and that's okay. And sometimes if like the handler is just sitting like at Starbucks having a coffee, maybe they won't mind, but it's always up to the handler if you can pet their dog or not.
Mm-hmm.
But really, any dog you meet, you really should ask because you never know
never
if
know.
they're nice. Our dogs are nice, but you don't always know.